Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be discussing spoilers from episode 51 of Critical Role and basically things that have led up to this point. So if you're not caught up yet, click off the video, and if you are, let's keep going. And with the spoiler warning out of the way, it's time for me to discuss the aftermath of the Apogee Solstice or episode 51 and where I think the players and characters are going to go and where the story is going to go, because there was a big mix-up at the end, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So let's get into it. So, for a quick recap, the Bell's Hells attempted to stop Ludinus and the Ruby Vanguard and the Paragon's Call from activating the key, but they have unfortunately failed in this endeavor and weren't able to destroy the key, losing the ship in the process. Caleb and Bo were captured. Vax was turned into a little, lens for the key to work. Keyleth is near death, and Rin is now missing an arm, but still a statue. So there's a lot of bad things, but on top of that, the party was separated. And this, to me, is the most interesting part of what's happened. And it's important to note, the biggest thing to note, is that Matt has separated the duos from the first episode. So, Laudna and Imogen, they're not together. They're two different groups. Ashton FCG, two different groups. Orm Fern, two different groups. Chetney has more friends than where he started, but less friends than the grand total. So, he's a little bit better off. But everyone else is sort of separated from their comfort character, and it's actually rather interesting to really look at, because now they're going to have to lean more on other characters. A lot of the time, lots of these characters would go back to their comfort characters in moments of crisis and combat, and now they're completely separated. And to me, that is one of the most fascinating parts of what happened at the end, where they all got teleported away into different places, to which we don't know where one group is, and we are well aware of where the other group is, so we're going to talk about them first. So the first group that we're going to be discussing here is the group of Chetney, Fern, Imogen, and FCG. They landed in Wildmount, to be more specific, the Crystal Lands Tundra, which is right near Uthadern. But the most important thing is the two Ruidus-born are completely removed from Marquette. They are nowhere near Marquette. They are probably one of the most furthest regions they could probably be from Marquette, unless you go the other way. I'm not too sure how Matt's world is shaped. But they're pretty far away. They're in a very bad spot, and it's very important to note that those two are the Ruidus-born, so they're going to be completely removed from the Ruidus story for a little while, with the exception of dreamwalking, which they can still do. The other thing is, the two characters they are with are the characters who are tied to Wildmount the closest. That being Chetney, who is from Uthadern, which they are within a couple of days walking distance from, which is crazy. They're also really close to Caduceus. Just wanted to put that out there, because if we're going to have more characters show up, it should damn well be Caduceus. Caduceus has been missed, damn it. Anyway, and FCG, who is a character who realistically isn't necessarily from Islecross originally, as Aor used to be in the sky, but the ruins of Aor landed in Islecross, and they are right near there. It is only barely to the northwest of where they are right now. And if they really wanted to dive deep into a bit of FCG lore, they could easily go to Islecross and look around at some of the Aorian crash sites, which I think would be really cool, and a nice little callback to Campaign 2 and to the EXU Calamity special they did, because we'd be able to learn a bit more about Aor, which is always nice. But to me, this location signifies that we're no longer going to be solely looking in on the Fern, Imogen, and Orem sort of story that we've been looking at so far. This first 50 episodes have been about their story so far. They've been the main three, with a handful of other small little details sprinkled in. But now it looks like we're going to be delving into other characters, which is really nice. Specifically for this group, it looks like it's going to be Chetney and FCG, which are characters who I am dying to learn more about. We've gotten a lot of information about FCG, about their current life, but I would love to learn more about their past life, which is nice. And it's nice that we're in a place where Chetney basically has to face his past, which is something that Travis characters don't really do very often. They don't face their past. Most of Travis characters look forward. They're in the moment. Ford was a big example of this. Grog was there too, but Grog didn't really care about his past all that much, and when it came up, he dealt with it almost immediately. So this is nice because we're basically going to have to walk right into Chetney's story, which is super good, and I'm very excited to see where we go from there. And the other group is obviously the leftovers from the previous one, Ashton, Oram, and Laudna, who have all been separated from their comfort characters, like I mentioned before. And we don't know exactly where they landed. Matt said they could see Ruidus and the Red Beam over the horizon line, which means they could easily still be in Marquette. And that means they can continue the story of fighting the Ruby Vanguard and the Paragon's Call, but they have to be a lot safer with their moves, and they might be the ones who are going in to say, rescue Vax, rescue Keyleth, rescue Bo, rescue Caleb, which honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, he put Orm and Laudna there, which means that is Marisha and Liam, which all the characters I just mentioned are all Marisha and Liam characters. So now that I'm really thinking about it, I feel like that's where it's going to go, which would be really cool. But another way to really look at it is they could also be in the southern part of Isura, the closest continent to Marquette, and they could theoretically still see the horizon line from there and see Ruidus from where they are if they are on the southernmost point of Isura, which to me says they could start looking into some Ashton storytelling, because Ashton is from Isura originally, from the Hisari people. And also another thing about Isura is that is where Vasselheim is located. So we could see some cool Vasselheim stuff. Maybe we could go to Pyra and meet some more of the Fire Ashari people, which could lead into some Oram stuff as well. So with them being on Isura, they can do Ashton storytelling and go to Vasselheim and sort of try to get Vasselheim on their side and be sort of away from the Judicator threat. Or they could still be in Marquette and go after Odahan, Ratanish, try to rescue the previous characters, and have a cool little fun storyline like that. So I think either way, we're looking at some really cool stuff from that, and I'm very excited. Whether they're in Marquette still or whether they're in Isura, I think going back to Vasselheim would be cool, because it's been fucking ages since they've been into Vasselheim in the campaign. I don't think they did it at all in campaign 2, so campaign 3 finally doing it again would be very cool, but that's a long way out of the way if they're in the southern area of Isura, and they're more likely just to cross the sea and go back to Marquette. So I don't know. I'm very excited for whatever they do for that group, because saving Caleb, Bo, Vax, and Keyleth is fun, but also dealing with some Ashton stuff would be really cool, and honestly more likely to happen because we don't have all that much Ashton stuff, and I'm terribly excited to see more Ashton stuff. So either way, I'm excited for both groups. So the main takeaways about this now, where they've ended up, is that it's safe to say the campaign isn't ending anytime soon. There was a small group of people, of which I was a part of, who thought this might be a shorter campaign, and it seems that is not the case, because now they're separated, so we're going to have to devote a lot of time over here and over here, so we have a lot of things going on at once. I hope Matt doesn't separate the table. That would be weird. But yeah, so I don't think the campaign's ending anytime soon. We're probably going to get 100 plus episodes again, which I'm very excited for, because that means I get 100 videos on my channel. Recaps, let's go. But also, we're now moving away from the strong Oram, Fern, and Imogen story and leaning more into other characters, just simply based off the location they're in. So I'm very excited for that. And, because up to this point, we've had 52 episodes of the main villains being directly tied to Fern, Oram, and Imogen. So now we get to see some more stuff about Chetney, FCG, Ashton, and potentially Laudna. So I'm very excited about all of that. The only way I can see Laudna really getting any more stuff is if Delilah just simply comes back. So Laudna to me seems very much like a forward-moving character. She doesn't care about her past anymore. So I don't think that much stuff is going to pop up for her anymore. But now we get Ashton, FCG, and Chetney stuff. Super excited about that. What else are we really looking forward to? Oh, the last thing that I thought of was with the parties being separated into the groups the way they are, the groups who are either in Marquette and Isura have to be extremely careful now, because they don't have anyone to revive them if they fucking die. Fern and FCG, the two healers of the group, and the two people with Revivify up their sleeve, are on the same team in Wildmount. This is extremely dangerous for Oram, Laudna, and Ashton. So, very dangerous for them. So if they are still in Marquette, they have to avoid conflict with Odahan, Ludinus, Ratanish or anyone of that nature at all goddamn cost, because they will be screwed if they get into a fight that is too hard for them to handle. So yeah, I'm actually looking really forward to this because they've set up Matt has set up some brilliant stakes with everything still going on. The Ruidus is still up in the sky. Characters are completely separated. One team has 0 heals. I am so excited to see what comes next. I feel like we're in an area where these parties are in a lot of danger. So for those who want to see more deaths, you're looking at some next, at least in my opinion, the next 5 to 8 episodes or sessions are likely going to be the most dangerous of this entire campaign for the party because they're split in half. Splitting the party is the most dangerous thing a DM can do because you never know who you're going to end up with, and one team has 0 heals. I think the Wildmount team is going to be okay because they have 2 healers, but the Marquette/Isilra team, they're in some deep doo-doo unless they somehow completely avoid combat. But the 2 people who are on the party, 3 people, let's just talk about all 3. Orm is a fighter. He does like to talk a bit, but he doesn't have like the most charisma. Ashton likes to fight people. Their big thing is fuck off. And Laudna terrifies people and could scare anyone into combat at any moment in time. So realistically, that group is just rife with danger near them. They're in a bad place. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. I'm just excited. I think this is fun. I'm so happy to see where the next handful of episodes go. I hope this lasts a while. Like I said, 8 sessions where they're separated like that would be really cool for me, especially because this is a table that can do it. Because they're not going to metagame. They're not going to be like, oh, we're planning on doing this over here, so you guys should try to reach the same goal, even though we can't communicate. Even though technically they can communicate because they have sending. 2 members on the same team have sending, so they're the only ones who can access calling other people. So who knows? I'm looking forward to the next handful of episodes. So yeah, that has been me and this video. That is the fun part about my channel, is that sometimes I have videos lined up or video ideas lined up, and then something else happens in one of the sessions and I immediately have to talk about that, which has always made me want to add like a 3rd day to my videos. But until then, until I add like a 3rd, because I don't know if I really want to add a 3rd day to it or not. I like the 2, having 2 days, and they're nicely spaced out, Tuesday and Friday. It's a nice little space between them. So who knows? If you want more videos, let me know. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Friday for episodes 52 recap. I'm very excited. Let's go.